Good Tuesday morning. It is June 7th, 2022. You're watching Finance and Technology Insights with Brian and Eric. I'm your co-host, Eric Buhrendorf. Alongside with me, I have Brian Williams. I am from EVERNET Consulting, a national IT and services and support company. And Brian is with Northshire Consulting, the premier 401k consulting. Are you a consultant? You're
Sure.
consulting, right?
Yeah, that's what we like to say. Yeah.
You're not
I
a
like
service
that.
provider per se.
Premier.
Are you a service? It's a service provider, or you're consulting? A little bit of both.
All of the above.
All of the
All
above.
of the above. Yeah, and on really large plans, I consider myself more of a consultant, and then sort of the nitty-gritty, smaller local stuff. It's a little bit more hands-on. There's the website there.
There's your website, northshireconsulting.com. I am evernetco.com. There's a little bit of us. So for the viewers out there, we took off Memorial Day last week, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right. So that Tuesday coming back was we were both a little bit backed up, and then we had some school stuff going on, and so we missed a week. So should have twice as much content to talk about this time around, right?
You know, when I'm not in front of a camera for a while, I miss it. So I'm psyched to be here. I can't believe how much I missed you. Today's your birthday, by the way. Happy birthday.
It is. That's right. Thanks for the reminder.
Applause. Happy birthday. How many years young are you now?
Oh, we don't need to get into that.
That means you've reached a certain threshold where you no longer want to talk about that.
Well, yeah, no, it's not. No, you've reached a threshold where you forgot.
I forgot a birthday a couple years ago. So
you get to a certain age, and your birthday just becomes New Year's Day, right? Whatever the year is, minus the year you were born, that's how old you are.
So true.
That's what it comes down to.
So true. So I missed you, buddy. What's been going on the past couple weeks?
Oh, a little bit of everything. So
how's the
let's
fam?
see. On the personal side, we went to my niece's birthday party on Saturday, so that was pretty nice. She's in New York State, just over the line, so about an hour and a half for me. So that was good. The cousins get together, which they haven't had a chance to do the last couple of years. So I have two sisters. Each of them have one child, one daughter and a son, and so that was good to get them together. So that was the big excitement for the weekend.
Nice. And how about Memorial Day parades? I think I saw some.
Yeah, Memorial Day. We did a Memorial Day parade Monday. I'm a big parade guy. I get the sense that you're a big parade guy as well.
It was kind of like in my 20s, I took the parades off. You know, we were big into them when we were kids, and we lived we grew up in Simsbury, Connecticut, and there was a really great parade that goes through Simsbury. So I did that a million years, and then through my 20s, I was too cool for school, or just too busy, I guess, bopping around, whatever. But now you got kids. It's such a kid thing, you know. How does your son like it?
Yeah, he likes it. I mean, it's perfect.
It's not to like.
Think about it. Like all the things that he really likes, and he gets to just sit there in a chair and they all walk by. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you're a 4-year-old kid, you're in the fire trucks, you're in the motorcycles, you're in the police cars, he's actually really kind of into marching bands lately, which is kind of neat. So it was like, all of those things.
3-year-olds liking guys and gals walking by with drums and horns. What's not to like?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how we got on the topic, but we started one day I was showing him some marching bands like on YouTube, and we watched the Ohio State band, who's relatively famous for the different designs and patterns that they do. And he was like super into it. So it was pretty cool. I don't know. Have you ever watched any of those?
Maybe 10 or 15 years ago when the movie Drumline came out, I think we all got into it a little bit. But
yeah, that's right. Recently. Yeah, anytime there's a movie around something, it gets some traction. But yeah, it was pretty neat. So I was going back through some of the Ohio State clips, and they do different themes and stuff. And one of the ones that they had like a Michael Jackson theme, and the band set up like an image of Michael Jackson and moonwalked across the field, which was pretty wild.
Wow.
And there was one actually not obviously Top Gun, the Maverick just came out, but there's one a few years ago they did that was like movie references or something. And one of the movies they referenced was Top Gun, and the band got into a plane formation and took off. Yeah, it's the first one on the list there. That Michael Jackson is pretty crazy.
Oh, that is pretty neat.
But yeah, they did the whole lean forward thing.
So okay, so that's like Michael Jackson.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
very
and
cool, very cool.
they had the white glove on and everything, and yeah, and then they moonwalked backwards
Did you say
across
there's a
the
Top
field.
Gun one?
Yeah, I think it was like yeah, Top Gun.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
look at that.
isn't that crazy? And they had it blow the exhaust out the back, but
That's very cool. Very cool.
yeah. So and they did when they did the movie theme one of the things they did was Jurassic Park, and they played the theme, and they were like a big T-Rex walking across the field. So
Oh, that's cool. That speaks to me a little bit. I'm one of my little side hobbies right now is I'm trying to learn piano, and one of the songs I'm working on is the Jurassic Park theme.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, so
I
that's
wasn't
pretty
sure
neat.
where you're going with that. I thought you were going to say you're doing a podcast with a dinosaur.
Yeah, well,
Glad, glad.
podcast. I've got the cryo lab in the basement that we're just trying to splice some DNA. So,
Yeah.
real quick on the parades. So, we did go to parades. I should say parades. We live in West Hartford, Connecticut now, and they do a pretty good parade in the West Hartford Center. So fortunately, that was a morning parade, and me and the girls caught the morning parade. My 9-year-old marched in it with her soccer team, which was a lot of fun, and she got to experience that. And yeah, we had lunch, and then we went in over the hill to Simsbury and caught the Simsbury parade and caught up with some friends, and that was our Memorial Day. So yeah, and on the other the other stuff we've got going on, I've it's the end of school year, so we've got field day for both girls. They had a school fair. And I'm trying like hell to win the Super Dad of the Year award at their local elementary school. So I volunteered for their field days, and as kind of like a volunteer to help support the events and things like that. So that was my youngest was yesterday's field day, and then it was a week ago was my 9-year-old's field day. So it's been pretty busy end of the school year stuff,
Yeah. So what is their official last day?
Their last day is the 17th or 14th. It's a Friday. It's not this Friday, but next Friday.
Okay.
I don't have a calendar in front of me. What day is that? Yeah, that's the 17th. So I think
yeah, same here. Lauren's last day is that Thursday. So
that's
be
right.
The 16th.
So yeah, that's it's been pretty busy on the work side. What do you got going on the work side?
We gotta play your clip for what's happening.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At EVERNET. Yeah.
Let's see what it is.
There you go. Can't miss out on that.
All right, and I'll hit you when I'm ready, right?
Yeah.
So so I'll start new with EVERNET and me. So I'm building out a sales and marketing team, as you know, I've been mentioning that. So we brought in a new resource on our web team. So the fintech website we just discussed yesterday, in fact. So I suspect that Finance and Technology Insights by Brian and Eric will get a website at some point soon. And that's just, right now bringing on a resource is really time consuming. I mean, it's really laborious to do training and onboarding and all this stuff. So what we've been working on concurrently is a learning management system, which will ease that pain. So we have a bunch of training material, but our HR platform has a training module, but it's limited to basically just a list of tasks. It's a to-do list basically, and with some you can record your training or whatever, but it doesn't have any assessment. And the only way that it brings in content is it just gives you a hyperlink out to some third party. So that was not really adequate. So we did some research on what they call LMS, learning management systems. And we looked at some products that integrate with our HR platform. We found one. Me and my office manager kind of did some demos and exploring with it, and we decided on and we landed on one. So that's really exciting. So basically, what it is when you come in, when you're born, when your identity is born in our company, it starts as a job description. Then we list it on the job boards, and the HR platform manages all this. And then you start the vetting process of your applicants, and then you could do the whole job offer thing, and it's all electronic and on both sides. It's very nice. And then once you are hired and you accept your hire offer, then it will kind of feed you to all of your required learning. And I kind of expect that moving forward, every new employee will more or less spend the first 1 to 5 business days just taking training, not doing anything except just taking training. There's so many systems and tools that we use to run our business that it's really vital for their success that they kind of know what the tools we use to conduct business, and then how we use them internally, because everybody adopts the tools uniquely for their own business purposes. So we spent a lot of time on that, and that tool is kind of coming up, and I'm really excited about that. And then I feel like there was one more thing that I wanted to make mention to. Oh, remember that project I was doing about synchronizing my business management software and its lead records and its contact records to our marketing software? This morning, I finally did the final data validation, and that was a multi-year project, if you can imagine that. Those two products are finally synchronized, and the data is now moving back and forth between our two primary business softwares, which is our business management software, where we kind of conduct our business, and then our marketing software, which is the mouthpiece of our business. And it was really important to get those two softwares. If you're prospective customer A, you may live in both softwares, because either you were previously a customer, or we were in some late stage process of the sales process. Maybe you didn't come on board or something, but you're kind of living now in both our marketing software and our business software. And it's really important to kind of keep your record synchronized across both platforms. So kind of both sides of the house are informed as to the relationship we have with everybody. So
that's really good. And I think that's kind of a common theme among all lines of business, is just getting those prospecting, marketing, and actual client resources to come together. Especially in my business, that's kind of what I've been working on too.
Yeah, let me
my intro, man.
That is hilarious. I love that you put those together. So what's going on?
I mean, similar projects, getting as we've talked about before, that 401k data is kind of a public thing, so you can pull that information into, so you've got prospecting, and then you've got your marketing systems, and then making sure that references back to actual clients, and doing all that stuff. So similar projects there. I think we're pretty clean on that now. So I did have a marketing email sequence set up for the month of June, which is.
Did you pull the trigger on it?
I did. Yeah. So for the most part, it's fairly cold, but it's a decent size run. But yeah, clicking that button to send is always, especially the way I type and spell and all that kind of stuff. But I had my wife check it. I had it read back to me a couple different times, couple different voices, actually, just to make sure I was picking everything up. But that went out. I don't expect a lot of appointment setting from that. And it was basically just inviting people to a webinar or a one-on-one meeting. But each email is going to be a little bit different in the sequence. But
are you doing
some bad email addresses and stuff, so they get flushed out. So my statistics will be a little bit better as it goes on. But
are you doing any industry segmentation, or are you kind of everybody at this point?
Yeah, I didn't do any of that yet, because it's a rabbit hole. It's a bad habit end up taking too long. But I think maybe each email will get a little bit more specific. So I didn't even really differentiate as far as the size of the business. So I would work with a $50 million plan a little bit differently than I'd work with a startup plan with 5 employees. But this email was just basically, these are the type of concerns that we're hearing out there, these 3 things. We're going to have a webinar addressing those 3 things. I think it was called Performance, Price, and Advice was the name of the webinar. So they could either join that or book some one-on-one time. So and then I think we'll kind of segment from there. So it might just be a little bit more, even if it's just tagging their industry. So, ABC, law firm or something. We're seeing law firms have problems in these type of areas or something like that. So it could be that, or it could be size, based on the size of the plan. But I think I just wanted to get the first one out. I just wanted to get that first one out.
I know the feeling.
You can
God,
play
do I know the feeling.
games in your head all day long with that. So that went out to about 2,500 people yesterday. So
I anticipate
so now the list,
I
Yeah, go ahead.
anticipate even bringing in another resource. I mean, you're kind of wearing all the hats right now, right? So, do you still have the bandwidth to manage all that, or are you seeing signs that you might reach out for help
Yeah,
yet?
I,
Or
I I do, and I think we probably talked about it offline, not necessarily online, but I might be partnering with some other advisors to provide some of my services to them. So that will kind of push the train along a little bit. So I'll be doing some things for them, and then there'll be some things for myself that I'll need to kind of outsource. So I'll be doing the higher end stuff for myself and them, and then the lower end stuff I can kind of push down to. Even if it's just some, I guess it depends on the person that I find and what type of skill set they have, and I can kind
yeah,
of piece them into what they want to do. So, so I'd be looking for quality over a specific skill set. I wouldn't be looking for a marketer or a technology person or anything like that right away. Just be looking for a quality person, and then maybe get a feel for what they like to do and what they're good at. Hopefully that's the same thing. It's not always the case, but and
right.
then sort of hand those tasks off there. But I've started to use a little bit more tools like Upwork and Fiverr just for some project work. So just kind of, which worked out well. I did some stuff over the weekend that I was going to do myself, and I was like, you know what, I'll just post it on there. And
Where did you have any
let
success with that?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's hard for me because I'm such a control. Like it's especially frustrating. If it's different, if it's something you don't know how to do, like if you had to, you know, I don't know what the analogy is, but if there's something how to do and you're asking somebody to
Origami?
do that, it's tough. But if it's like, outsourcing your open heart surgery to a heart surgeon is not that big a deal because you could never do it yourself. But
Right.
if there's something you could spend a couple hours on a Sunday morning and get it done, but yet you're paying somebody else to do that, and it's not exactly the way you want it. It's sometimes difficult, but
I tried Fiverr once to see if I could use it as a meaningful tool to get some creative writing done,
mm,
and maybe creative writing isn't the best tool for that. It's because it's such an intellectual effort, um, but hopefully I can leverage that tool at some point.
yeah, I would think so. If there's maybe even a specific project, or even if you get into, more editing type of stuff, maybe with videos, or
Yeah, editing maybe.
slicing up a bit of content or something, I think it might be good for that.
So
But
that
yeah,
was your
writing is tough because it's so industry specific,
right.
and even
You almost have to
I
be a
bet
subject matter expert to talk on something, right? Big surprise.
yeah, right, exactly. I know. And then, I mean, there's people on there, but then you look at what they charge, and for me, I'm always thinking, well, geez, maybe I should be on that side of the table. Look at what they charge
Yeah,
for
tell me about
doing
it.
that kind of stuff.
So
Um,
tell me about your video marketing schedule. What's that look like in the near future?
yeah, well, I'll start with my wife because she's been very good with that, and really doing a good job with that. So she's doing a challenge where she's doing video content every day for a month. She's got it
Oh, I
mapped
love
out.
that.
Um, so she's pretty good about doing reels. She actually does them in her car when she gets to work. So she'll spend a couple minutes and do reels or stories, and she gets those out. Um, because those can go cross platform, those can go to TikTok, those can go to
Right.
Instagram, Facebook. So
Right.
she's good with that, but she's doing a YouTube, I think, every night for the month. So some of those will be live. So I'm
That's
just trying to keep
excellent.
up with her. So hopefully we'll.
I'm trying to get in that rhythm again. I mean, I've been so cold with my content calendar. I've got a vendor, I think two vendors tomorrow that I'm really excited about recording for EVERNET reviews.
Mhm.
But it's been cold. It's been a cold month, just because of the personal distractions and or obligations and some business development stuff. So I'm like this data migration project. I'm just so thankful to put that behind me, and that really establishes the data set. And then with the new marketing resource we just hired, I'm just really looking to restart the machine. But it's been cold for me. But that's good that you guys. I mean, a 30-day challenge. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah, she's been doing. I mean, she's pretty much. I mean, she's definitely posting something somewhere every day. But the idea of doing live content every day, and she's good at it. She started with she was doing a little bit more edited and production stuff early on, but now she's going live a lot more, and she can speak to that stuff without a lot of preparation. So she's doing a good job with that. One thing I guess I should mention, I did a little bit of this towards the end of last year, around Christmas time, obviously a big book buying time of year. And I think other than Christmas, I think Father's Day is the other big book sales day. But what I do is just go to Amazon and I look for books that have either just come out or they're about to come out. And I just kind of scroll through my industry segment. And if there's something that interests me, I'll just reach out to the author and say, hey, do you want to speak to my group? And, here's the plan. I have a Calendly link that's set up just for that. And it has a few questions. They have the option to go live or recorded. They can send me some social media stuff. They write down how they want to be introduced, if they're an author, that's fine. But a lot of them have, real jobs. Maybe they work real jobs. That's not the right word, but, day jobs where they might work for Bloomberg or something. They have a very
right.
specific title, or maybe even from a compliance standpoint, they have to they have to be introduced a certain way. So we have three of those coming up. One actually next week. A guy from Bloomberg, which I'm pretty excited about. He's the ETF analyst there. So he wrote a book on Jack Bogle, who was the founder of Vanguard and the godfather of modern day indexing and that kind of stuff. So that'll be good. He does a ton of content anyway already, so he's used to kind of doing that. So he can.
You
So
blew
that'll
my
be good.
mind when you put that out. When you told me that that's what you were doing, I was like, of
Yeah.
course. That's like, I mean, who wouldn't want, who's the group that wants the most PR that can bring the most value to a channel like
Mhm.
you and I are trying to do? Of course, a new author, newly minted book author.
Right. Right.
Such a
And
good idea.
I try to do the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. I try to exactly judge a book by its cover. So I'll try to go through and I'll look at the book before I even see the author, because I don't want to be drawn to, like, and maybe an author that I know or somebody who's more popular or whatever. So I'll just kind of go through. And so just by doing that, I've stumbled across first time authors, second time authors, and then, people who are a little more popular or famous, or however you want to say it. But
That's brilliant.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. So I've got the Eric Balchunas one is coming up next week, um, from Bloomberg, and then I've got another guy who's specifically writing on finance for doctors, um, and sort of the financial aspect of it, but also kind of how to transition away from that and transition out of it. And then I've got another guy who, um, it's interesting. It showed up in the business and finance section, but what he is he's an endurance athlete, and he competes at the ultra level, so 100 milers, Ironmans, that type of stuff. And he's reached out to people who are also in that space, but also C-level executives or entrepreneurs. And he put together this book he did 100 interviews with those type of people and then mashed them together all in a book. And he has the interviews in there, but then he also has some takeaways and some traits that sort of carry across the board. So that was interesting to me, just from
That
a
is
business and
interesting.
finance perspective. And then, I've been a runner for a long time, so understand what that's going through. And
Are
as I
you a
talked
runner?
about with him, there's a ton of parallels between, saving and investing, or building a business, or competing in an endurance race. There's no quick fixes. It's little things every day. It's the habits, it's the ritual, all that kind of stuff that play together. So that should be a good one too.
Did you say you're a runner?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Not
didn't
so
know that.
much anymore, but yeah.
Are you like on the road every day or
I
once a
used to
couple times a week?
be. Yeah. I used to be a lot more than it ever since my son was born. Not that that's an excuse, but between that and starting the business and everything, my schedule got a little wonky. But yeah, starting to get back into it a little bit.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, that's a pretty good half of the show. Our next section of the show is we talk about the news. Before we go into the news, if you are still paying attention and watching, if you like the show, if you like our characters, please consider sharing this video or this content on your favorite social media, and give us a thumbs up on that. And subscribe if you haven't already. Would be
Yeah.
really be
No,
fun
no
too.
ifs. Because you like our show, hit the
Because you
like
like
button.
us and you like, I
Because
would,
you're watching us,
right,
right? Not
right,
if you like us, because of course
right.
they do.
Don't forget to subscribe and like, and a share is really helpful. Um,
Yes. Yep. And we're going to
so
start doing a little bit more of that ourselves. I see you've done a good job posting some of the YouTube videos and
yeah,
stuff.
right. So I mean, we're treating this project as its own kind of brand, I think.
Mhm.
But I'm doing a little cross promo from my company's social channels. We're starting to share it a little bit. So, and we'll
Mhm.
continue to lean in on that. But I would like this to kind of stand on its own. I mean, it is standing on its own, because, for whatever. But yeah. So what do you say? You want to do in the news?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
You got. That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah, I was laughing. I watched a clip of Stephen Colbert, and in his monologue, he was talking about how CNN has been mocked for a while because everything is breaking news, right? Everything is,
Yeah, I love that
so it's
segment he does.
always so they're actually moving away a little bit from that model because they've been mocked so much for that. So in his monologue, he did like a little cheesy intro, like we just did, and it was breaking news. CNN is no longer everything breaking news. So that was his little bit that
Yeah, I saw that.
is, yeah.
So just a reminder to the viewers out there, right now, our primary web resource, we have the finance and technology YouTube channel where you might be viewing this. If you're not on the podcast, Brian does cut our audio to a podcast, and you can find us on your favorite podcast channel. But we, in lieu of a website right now, our primary web presence, I guess, is the Facebook channel. And what Brian and I do is we pin news articles that we find interesting throughout the week right onto our Facebook channel. And then we talk about it. So I'm just going to scroll, Brian, and I'll scroll down, not to be first, but did you see this post on Ford is going to 100% online fixed price sales for EVs?
Yeah, that's really interesting. And the dealership model, that was one of the big roadblocks for Tesla early on, right? Is that they didn't have necessarily that dealership model, and everything was direct. So, um,
Yeah.
eventually, I think regulation and consumers, the way they want to shop, will hopefully drive process and regulation. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so some background. Sometime in the 20th century, when the automobile was coming up, uh, there was this regulatory model that states employed that required automobile manufacturers to have a dealer network from which they would sell cars to consumers. So basically, you could not buy a new car from Ford, Chrysler, Chevy direct from the manufacturer. You had to buy through a dealer. And the argument for that, as I understand it, is an automobile can be a massive investment or purchase for a consumer's household, and it's a consumer protection mechanism to say, okay, well, you're going to spend a significant sum of money on an automobile. You should at least have a support network for that property. In my opinion, that's kind of like a lot of laws that say, let's do it for the children when, will somebody please, you remember that? I don't know if you watch Simpsons or not, but there was always the preacher's wife that would like, scream in the middle of some event and say, will somebody please think of the children? My libertarian values tend to say, like, buyer beware. If you're going to spend, $50,000 or $20,000 or $10,000 on anything, you would be emotionally moved to do some due diligence as to what's going to support that thing, in my opinion. So, but I also didn't live in the 1910s and the 1920s and the 1930s when the automobile was kind of coming up, and you know brakes were leather straps wrapped around an axle. I don't know, you know what I mean? So I don't know what was necessary to protect consumers back then. So I'm living in 2022, and I see, certainly what Elon Musk and Tesla. They're selling direct to consumers through online sales. The price is fixed, so they set the price. There's no haggling. It's like buying anything else online. The price is the price. You buy it or you don't buy it. And I think there's power for the consumer in that. What the price you see is the price you're going to pay. There's no, you don't have to spend half a day or more in a dealer doing this whole like negotiation and hemming and hawing and tire kicking. And I'm a fan of it. This headline here, in my opinion, is just another example that Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, really does see what Tesla is doing to the auto industry, to the world. And I always forget the expression. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, or something.
Yeah.
But like if you see a winning model, if you're too prideful to say, oh wow, look what they're doing, that's working. If and so many of the car manufacturers for the last 10 years, as Tesla was coming up, they were just stuck in their current model. So anyways, I think it's great. I think it shows signs of Ford being willing to pivot into a modern world, to recognize what works and what's not working. I think it's pretty cool. What do you think?
It's a good idea to, you have to think about those people that are, quote, middlemen, as I make the air quotes here for the audio listeners. But if people are comfortable buying things direct, I mean, that's the model that, Amazon and everybody else is going through. So people are used to buying things, and if they don't like it, they can, return it or whatever another solution is. Noticed over time too, when you're buying a car, that customization and you used to be able to pick out all the different options. All that's pretty much going away now anyway. There's usually 2 or 3 packages that have some sort of fancy name, and it's, basically a good, better, best system, or gold, silver, bronze, whatever you want to do there for cars. So people are
right.
They know the car they want. This is the 3 packages available. There isn't necessarily that, that need to go into the dealership and pick and choose what, type of floor mat you want, and heated mirrors, yes or no. So
electric door locks, electric windows, air
right.
conditioning, right?
Yeah, all that stuff that used to be there. So
Classic.
no, I think that's good.
So yeah, what else? Let's see, what do we have here?
Well, I was going to share this article from the group. So this was on the electric aircraft. Did you see this one about the plane? So flew from Lake Champlain to Arkansas, from Plattsburgh, which is near Lake Champlain, and in the northeast corner there. And it made a few stops along the way, but how has this? If people don't know, Eric is a pilot, so this must excite you a little bit as worlds collide with your electric push and your flying, right?
Yeah, give it scroll up to the top. Let me see
Yeah.
the headline. What do
Yep.
we I think we missed that. So an electric aircraft just completed a journey of 1400 miles. So I am unbelievably excited about electric aviation for sure. Um, I am a pilot. I'm a general aviation pilot, private pilot. So I'm not getting paid to fly, and it's not like what everybody thinks. When they go to Puerto Rico for a week, I'm not flying. I'm not that kind of flying. I'm just 4-seat aircraft, me and my friends and family. But the where do I begin? So I fly single, what they call single piston aircraft is what I fly, and every week I follow some aviation threads and groups where they discuss planes going down, and unlike commercial aircraft have redundant engines, redundant pilots. Um, they're very safe, very redundant. The jet engine itself is very reliable from an operational and mechanical standpoint. Very few moving parts. Um, the single engine piston is just like a reciprocating internal combustion engine in your car. Now, I mean, I drive a 2008 Pathfinder with 210,000 miles on it. The thing just, I do my 3,000 mile oil change and the thing is just so reliable. And I think most cars are basically that reliable these days, but the engines in most general aviation aircraft are, they're still on like 70-year old technology. They are fuel injected, but they're still like a lot of airplanes, you're still controlling mixture. I mean, most people might not even know what that means, controlling the fuel air mixture in the aircraft. So yeah, I mean, electric aviation is something I'm watching closely. An electric motor is basically just two parts, and if you know anything about engineering and complexity and reliability, the more parts you have, the more parts you have that can fail. So an electric motor that's two parts is a lot fewer than an internal combustion engine that could have thousands of parts. Um, yeah, I'm definitely watching the electric aviation industry closely, and I hope I live long enough to enjoy it. Unfortunately, the wheels of progress and change can move glacially slow in the aviation industry. Although the FAA in its current form is really trying to work to reform themselves to try to allow innovation to move quicker. So yeah, I'm psyched about it.
Yeah, that's exciting. When you fly yourself, how many miles typically are your trip? Usually you're taking off and landing in the same spot, right? They're just sort of fun that way, or
no, actually, most of the flying that I like to do is travel flying.
okay,
A lot of pilots fly for the love of flying, but I love flying, but I prefer to fly to travel.
okay.
I don't like to grab a plane and a friend and just tool around lower New England for
Mm,
the afternoon. It's not the kind of flying that I like to do. It's fun, it's beautiful, but really I like to go places. We go down to New Jersey, Ocean City a lot with the girls, my family. And that's just an hour and a half, give or take, and we get to cut the New York City corridor.
mhm.
Sometimes we fly down the Hudson River and we see the city and stuff. And it's just really cool to just go down to Jersey in an hour with no traffic. So that's the kind of flying I like to do. But electric aviation and flying in general is limited to endurance, and that's factored in
Mhm.
time. They do report on it in distance a lot, but in because an aircraft is a lot like a boat and in the wind and the current, like you can't always say like it's got 1,400 miles of range, because you
Mm.
don't know what the winds are going to be doing to you. You know, you could have a 30-knot headwind, and really that could drop your range, you know, by 30%. So it's really endurance time. How long can the craft operate in flight? And electric aircraft, and this report actually says that they made numerous stops to charge along the way.
Right.
So, you know, from upstate New York to, what they say, Alabama,
Arkansas. Yeah, they
Arkansas.
made 7 stops.
That's a
Yeah, and I asked
lot of,
about range because it said their segments lasted about 150 miles.
and that's probably at 130 knots. That's probably an hour in the air endurance. So
Okay.
that's what electric aviation is running up against right now. Is electric aircraft can only really endure a flight time of about an hour at a time right now, and that the limiting factor is the energy density.
Mhm.
So I'm also watching battery new battery technology very closely, because I'm just waiting for that headline. And we see it often: the new innovation, new breakthrough in batteries. And we're watching closely to see if somebody can really pack some high density energy into safe, reusable batteries. Because the more dense you can pack your energy into a battery, the smaller you can make it, or the lighter you can make it, or in the same given size and weight, you can now start compounding your distance. So right now, the batteries that are powering these are the same cars in a Tesla, and they're heavy, and they are limited in their energy density. But they're working on it aggressively. And like I said, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting, especially for people in aviation. I mean, 150 miles, obviously you said it's more of a time thing, but you can cover pretty good distance in 150 miles through the air. Yeah, I mean, 150 miles can get you pretty decent range for a lot of trips.
Yeah, I mean, especially in northern New England and the Northeast. Yeah, 150 miles in a straight line definitely can get you to a lot of places. So it's cool. And there's a lot of, and I've been babbling, but there's a lot of work being that, I don't know if you noticed, but that was a eVTOL, like they call that, an electric vertical and takeoff and landing craft, I think. So
Mhm.
not only they're working on electrifying the aircraft, but they're also working on kind of the quadcopterification of these craft, to try to get the benefit of a vertical takeoff and landing, which, um, has obvious benefits.
All right. What other news stories do you have here?
I think that's good. I mean, we're at a 45-minute timer right now. I think we definitely want to wind down before we hit an hour. I think two interesting news articles, a pretty good rhythm. We talked about what's going on in our lives, our business, and the news. I
Mhm.
feel like this is we could put a bow on it. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Excellent, excellent. You want to start taking us out?
Yeah, I'm Brian Williams from Northshire Consulting, which is a independent investment advisory firm. We work with individuals and families, small businesses as well, on their retirement plans for themselves and their employees. Our social media channels are usually under the name 401k and beyond. So that's our YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, even a little bit. And our Facebook group is 401k and beyond, which is knocking on the door of 2,000 members.
Yeah,
So
you're
hoping to get
killing it with
there.
that Facebook group. I love it.
Hoping to get there soon. We can do a little more. When we first started last year, we had some more regular content and some series and Mutual Fund Monday, and where we pick a category and run through some funds in that category, and then Fiduciary Fridays, where people in the group could submit um, their retirement plan information, and we could kind of review it for them. So,
Are you
so
advertising your 401k and beyond on your website?
I don't really too much. I think I
Is
don't
that
know
a
if I have
choice,
that.
a regulatory requirement?
Yeah, I think I just have a link right now to the general Facebook page
Cool.
for our Northshire Consulting page.
Very cool. And I am Eric Buhrendorf, a CEO and Chief Consultant of EVERNET Consulting. We provide support, IT support, contracts and services to businesses all over the country. Go to evernetcode.com if you're interested, and you can schedule a discovery call with me personally right here at the bottom of our webpage. And yes, our socials are all available right here on the top of our website. I don't know if you can see that with our, let me hide that logo real quick. There's our social: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I think we have a YouTube channel, Instagram. I think we need to add TikTok. I think I have some TikToks I'm starting to do now. So our pricing is right on our website. No other IT company does that, or very few do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that is.
You have some good interviews coming up, some good software reviews.
Yeah, tomorrow we're doing. Tomorrow I'm really excited about one of the vendor, both of them. I don't want to reduce anybody, but I've been chasing this one vendor down, and I'm really excited. They're a key. So our biggest vertical is legal, the legal industry. So we have a lot of law firms that we support, and I am interviewing a representative of a very key piece of software that services the legal industry. So look for that hopefully in the next week or so when that drops. I'm really excited about that.
All right, sounds good, and we'll see you next week.
So that's Finance and Technology Insights with Brian and Eric. If you haven't already, give us a like and subscribe. And we record every Tuesday morning. And this was good. We got another one in the can. Next week's 21, right? 21 or 20?
21.
21. All right, Brian, have a great week.
We'll have to drink after, since we hit 21.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. Have a great week.
All right, we'll see you.